What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marvlat, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. Folks, don't mind a relaxed pose, you know what I'm saying? Feeling really good right now, feeling really cool right now. I just finished watching Invincible, right? Actually, I watched it on the day it aired its final episode of the season. I just need a couple of days to process what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was sitting there like, wow. This season was very topsy-turvy. You guys already know. It was a very topsy-turvy season because it started off pretty cool. Then there was that one episode where Mark goes to, I guess you could, yeah, he went to hell, and then he goes to hell, and he helps out down there, and then he comes back feeling rejuvenated, feeling like he can fight again, and that was to many viewed as one of the worst episodes of the season, and it was also viewed as one of the lowest rated episodes of the season, and as of the series. And then it found its rhythm again. So it was a series that lost its rhythm after it gained its rhythm, and then got its groove back really, really quick before it was too late. So that was a good thing. One thing I wanted to say was that I don't know how anybody viewed this season, but I want to talk about it. It was a lot of stuff that made me laugh. Like, I like to laugh at certain things when I peep things. And I felt like when I was watching this season, a lot of people was crapping on it for the animation. And I just want to remind a lot of people, Invincible's animation has never really been the best. If you go back to the first season, even with the think, the animation wasn't top notch. It wasn't top quality. It was cool for what it was, right? This is one of the best adult animation cartoons probably of all time, right? It's right up there with the Rick and Morty's, the Family Guys. Even though those are comedies, this is still a good adult animation show, right? But the animation was never the best. Some people even tried to compare it to the budget that JJK had because JJK's latest season had a lower budget than Invincible's. And they're like, with that budget, the animation should be through the roof. Yes, no argument there, right? But we still have to just understand that they did what they did, and we have to either enjoy it or we just don't watch it at all. And it is what it is, right? And that's where we have to stand with that. I choose to watch it because the story is okay, the action is amazing, and it is a very entertaining watch. So for that reason, I'm going to keep watching it. But I don't think we should go so hard as to probably like almost give up on the show because the animation is lacking in a certain area or something of that nature, okay? I think people should still watch it and enjoy it for what it is. So Viltrumites, when they fight each other, is very funny because they have that one like karate chop move that always like is very effective and most of the time be taking people out in a heartbeat. But then like they'll be able to like withstand like uppercuts and random punches to the face. But you know what I mean? Like you do that karate chop or you do it like a thrust and then it takes them out. It's like it's super effective against anybody. It's like a one punch man punch. So I'm like, y'all gotta make up your mind with these Viltrumite attacks. That's all I'm saying. We gotta make up our mind. We can't have this one hit quitter, but then they can withstand every other attack a Viltrumite throws at them. I just was thinking that. I love that the story didn't stray too far away from what it was doing in the comics and the adaptation. I know there were certain things they probably tweaked a little bit, like Zoe. I think in the comics, I think Zoe's a dude, and then this one is a woman, which is not a big deal, right? Then there was also the fact that I think Mark's reaction to Eve saying that she decided to not have the baby and have the baby, taken out. I think that was a different thing from what I've read. I know there's a lot of big differences and changes and stuff like that. Some people are happy and some people are not. We're always going to be divided on shows, but I was okay with the directions that they chose to go in, right? Because let's be honest, Mark came back home and his main concern was making sure that his team was okay, right? His family, his friends, his main concern was making sure that all of them was good money. So the last thing he was really going to super freak out about was that he's about to be a dad, and now he's not going to be a dad for right now. He had more pressing matters. Y'all all saw my man had Thragg living in his head rent free. Every minute when he was talking to Cecil, when he was talking to his friends, when he was talking to Eve, when he was talking to his moms, he kept thinking that it was going down. That Thragg was going to pull up and take them out. Because Thragg took out Emperor Argon in one shot. He beat up his dad. He beat up Oliver. And he beat him up. And had him flying back. Y'all saw the scene? My man thought about it and was like, I'm out. And Thragg was like, no, sir. It reminded me of the scene in Friday After Next when Damon was chasing Money Mike and when he was just running and he's just chasing him behind him. That's how real it was. It was like, this is a real threat. This dude could really do work. So he had a villain living in his head rent-free. When you think about all the other villains he had before, right? When you think about all the guy Angstrom and all these other people, none of them was living in his head rent-free. He just, when he saw him, he was like, it's on sight. Even Conquest. Conquest came back to life. He was like, all right, I'll just do it all over again. Thragg was on another level. So it was understandable that when he saw Eve and she's like, I didn't have the baby. He's just like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But what did they show instead? Him looking up and thinking he saw Thragg and freaking the heck out. He was so scared of Thragg that when Thragg actually pulled up on him, he couldn't even try. He tried to fight him, and Thragg was like, bro, just come on, man. Which, side note, that was one of the funniest things I laughed at the episode. He tried to fight Thragg by himself because he knew he didn't really have a choice. Like, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like, his dad and his brother was on another planet healing. Alan was dealing with the council. Zoe is not going to stop him by herself. Space Ranger is not going to stop him by himself. Battlebee's not going to stop him by himself. They were all away, right? And the people who were on Earth that could probably help ain't going to beat him up neither, right? So he knew he had no choice but to fight Thragg by himself. And he tried. He really did try. And Thragg was just like, get out of here, bro. I ain't even come here to fight, bro. Relax. And then and you know how I know I'm right? He tried to charge at Thragg again. Mark tried to charge at him. He goes, stop. He didn't say like, enough or don't do it. Or he just said, stop. It's like he was mad tired. Like, bro, it's like you playing with your little cousins or your little brother or sister. They keep playing. You like, stop. That's how he felt. He's like, stop. So it was just like, he was just like, I'm tired of this, bro. Like, you always trying to you trying to run the fade. You know you can't beat me up, dog. Like, let's stop. I got a better idea. Let's start this truce, right? And the truce was kind of the coolest ending to the episode. Like, it helped us get more of a season 5 because it's like, imagine he tries to fight Thragg and he like almost passes away, right? And nobody's there to help. And they added more plots and twists and stuff like that. But what's so cool about it is that now for the next season, we might have to deal with the fact that the Viltrumites are around here on Earth, and they're not going to be the last we see of them, right? We'll see them in some capacity at some point throughout the next season or two, right? But I want to say, let me make sure I got homie's name right, because I gotta give props to this one Viltrumite who was putting in the work, and I mean putting in the work in a different way, because my son, my son was the realest dude ever. Let me make sure I get his name. General Craig, right? Right? Let me make sure I got it right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to understand this. General Craig, my son, General Craig, during the brief little, like, you could say it was a montage in a sense, right? It was when Thragg was explaining to Mark, like, this is how it's going to go down, right? Me and my people, we're going to pull up to your planet since you destroyed ours, and we're going to start a new civilization on your planet, right? We're going to find some Earthlings. We're going to breed them up. We're going to see if they're worth breeding. We're going to create a new race of Viltrumites because you are already living proof that it can happen, right? And then that's it. We're going to start a new civilization and go from there. Why was this funny, ladies and gentlemen? Because they forgot the one dude, but they showed the black dude who's voiced by Philip Mall walking with him already knowing how to tie a tie perfectly. They showed him walking in a full suit, minding his business. All right, cool. They showed Anissa walking in a full skirt, all that, showing off, showing she's a baddie. And all the people was looking at her. The dudes was like, oh, okay, trying to holler, cat calling her and all that stuff, right? And then they showed my man Craig already getting busy. My man was in what I assume was either a bike shop for motorcycles or a tattoo parlor. But my son already had a change of hair. He already had his hair, changed up a little bit. My son had an eye patch instead of a monocle, and he stood there, and he was already laying the game down on a shorty. My man already knew what the assignment was. He understood the assignment off GP, off the rip. He got to the plane and was like, "Where the baddies at, bro?" Because every time I come here, there's some. Because remember, this ain't the first time he came to Earth, so he probably already pulled up and was like, "Damn." He was already checking the joints out. He probably the one that made the plan to Thragg. Like, yo, hold on, Thragg, hold on. I know you tight. I know he destroys your homeworld, right? I get it. I really do get it. I get it. But hear me out real quick. Peep game, right? Why don't we just go down there and smash a few joints? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Nolan. Nolan went out there. Nolan went to 2 different planets and got 2 different Viltrumites, bro, and they still breathing. Why can't we just do the same? Thragg was like, what you trying to say, though? He's like, bro, I'm just saying, right? Like, we can go get the baddies, too. Look at Nolan. And he probably was like, that's not a good idea. And that black Viltrumite was in the back like, yeah, I think we should do that. And then they probably just pulled up. And this probably lost the vote. She was like, I don't want to do that. It was like, man, shut up. So they probably just moved up. My son was in there like swimwear. Shout out to my man Craig, bro. He got cooked by Angle. He got cooked by Angle in that fight. But shout out to my boy Craig. And it just was funny to me. I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny because now they're gonna live on Earth. Now it is what it is, right? Space Ranger, when they jumped Space Ranger, I laughed because he kept shooting and they was like, all right, we got enough of this. And they probably all ganged together and was like, man, and they just started punching his helmet. They didn't even beat him up. They could have ripped him to shreds. And they just said, psh, psh. And he was like, I can't breathe. I said, nah, son, my son. They just punched. They was like, yo, his weakness is he can't survive space without that helmet. Just punch him in the helmet and let's get on our way. And that's literally what they did. These Viltrumites was disgustingly disrespectful. Like to just punch somebody in the helmet and keep it moving, hilarious. So they punched my man in the helmet and was like, we out of here, we off this. And left him almost to pass away. And then Zoe, who is also voiced by Zoe Dutch, is pretty cool. She saved him. Her suit was pretty fire. It was more fire than Iron Man's suit because she could instantly heal herself with the suit right there. And the suit was voiced by LeVar Burton for anybody who didn't know. But to have the suit there and like fix itself anytime on the fly when she has a minute, that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And the suit was able to attach itself also to the Viltrumite ship and just like chill out for a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool too. I loved the scenes with just Nolan and Debbie. Because again, even though this is the action show, a lot of it is the action is what's driving. It's the driving force within the show. I love the fact that it is able to still tell the story it has to tell and still drive the emotions home, right? And what's cool about that is they had a real scene. Like that was some acting. Even though it was voice acting, they was acting. J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh, they was acting. They was really on it. And it was a really impactful scene because we got to remember this is a callback to the first season when Nolan was just like, yeah, I didn't really love her. She was just like a pet to me, B. Like I wasn't really feeling her like that. I just needed her to, fit the bill. So that way I could do what I got to do to get, my son. And then he went off and did the whoop-de-whoop with another joint. So it was like he disowned her. He cheated on her. He said he didn't love her. All of that and then some, right? Because they never legally got a divorce. He just bounced, right? He just dipped, and she had to just move on with life. So it was like, you know what I mean? And maybe there might be a window where they might find a reconciliation, or there might be a window where they do fall back in love. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is, well, if you read the book, you probably know. But what I do know is it was kind of cool that they had these 2 scenes where it was like Debbie was pouring into him when she was punching. I don't know if that was a callback to when the Red Flash Russian dude was punching him and he just realized it wasn't working. But it was that to me was like a real scene because she knew this man could take her out like that. And she still stood up to him because she was like, yo, I gotta get this off my chest. And it also showed that he never loved her. He did. He was caught under the pressures of being a Viltrumite. Like, this is the game. Like, we grow up and we take over planets and we are bullies and we don't care. We duck no fates. And for the first time, he was like, but why though? You know what I'm saying? So he got to that point. Even when he saw Angro and was angry, like, yo, you took out our people. He realized, like, we was wilding though. That don't mean our people needed to go. That just means like we was wilding and we needed to be like, contained. So to see all of that and to see this man trying to change, I thought that was the coolest part of this whole season. It wasn't about so much of the Viltrumite war, right? It was also Nolan having to try and do the toughest face turn I've ever seen in my history watching TV, right? Because you've seen, again, using anime, you've seen Vegeta turn face and people kind of was against it, but then they got cool with it. You've seen Nico Robin turn face and they was against it, got cool with it. You've seen different characters in different cartoon shows, even live TV shows, turn face, and it takes a little time. But his is still the most uncomfortable because Caesar don't trust him. The man that made his suit don't trust him. Artie, whatever. People still don't trust him. They see him and they like, Eve didn't even trust him because they like, we don't forget what you did. Right? We don't forget what you did. You did the craziest heel turn. You made us believe you was a real hero. You was down for the streets of the earth for so many years. And then when the time was right, you started wilding on Earth. Once Mark got his powers, you was like, yeah, let's go. You beat up other heroes. You took out so many lives. And then you want to come back and act like, yeah, I'm going to help y'all out, man. These Viltrumites is wilding. What you mean? Like, we don't even rock with you. You the one Viltrumite we don't even like. You talking about them? Shit, they at least came with the same agenda. You was always on that BS. So of course they gonna feel like, I love the scene where Artie was like, yo, I can't make a new suit for you, bro. And he's like, why? He's like, because I only tailor heroes. And he had to realize at that point, like, I'm not a hero on this earth anymore. I'm still looked at as a bad guy. And they always gonna look at him like that for a while. Probably even when they win this war, they're gonna need time to still trust him. So I love that part. It was a lot of scenes like that was like, even the whole like Mark going to hell thing, it wasn't the greatest episode. Yeah, everybody's right. It was I didn't really see what I saw what the message for the episode was, but I also just felt like we ain't really need this episode, fam. This episode's kind of weak. Episode's kind of weak. I ain't even gonna hold you. So I also looked at it the same way, like, fam, I'm not feeling this episode. But at the end of the day, the season was cool. There was a lot of stuff I could talk about. Excuse me. But again, the funniest choice in the world was that my man Craig was already getting busy. The fact that Thragg was on point with it. Oliver was just doing what any other little kid would do. He thought he was strong, right? And he kept learning also. This was a funny season for him because he kept realizing he was way in over his head on a lot of things. Because unlike Mark, he got his powers a lot faster because of his bloodline ages faster. So he got his powers faster than Mark, but Mark had time to develop his skills. He did not. So I love the fact that Nolan was like, let me train you a little bit, but he still wasn't ready. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole thing went down and it was just like, yo, like it was a lot. And that's what I love. Oliver couldn't beat the dragon that Invincible was able to get through and at least try to beat up. And he couldn't beat up Thragg, even though none of them could. But it was just the fact that he went head first thinking he could do whatever he want because he was strong too. And he wasn't ready. So I love a lot of those things to see that. And I hope in the next season they get to that because I'm sure Oliver's going to grow again and he's going to get stronger. But I just was like, this was a really cool season. And I want to end on this note, right? I want to talk about my man from the Joe, Thragg. I want to talk about Thragg because this has got to be in the shortest of spans because he really was only around for like 3 episodes, pretty much 4 tops. This is one of the greatest villains I've ever seen in an action series. Probably not in all series, right? There's still a lot of better villains than him, Homelander, a lot of others. But this guy was without a doubt one of the greatest villains I've ever seen, because at the end of the day, my man's first off did an attack where he charged up a punch. None of them could do that. My man charged up a punch, boom, took out the leader of the Ops War in one shot. Had Mark running scared, took out his little brother, had Mark so shook, my man was having visions that he saw him, and he was having visions that he already couldn't do nothing to stop him from whatever he was going to do, including taking out his own people. He had so many visions that Mark didn't even come back and look at his shorty like, yo, you gained a little weight, mama, what happened? He just was like, hey, baby, I'm happy to see you. I love you so much. I miss you. If I missed that part, let me know. But at the end of the day, my man came back, didn't even look at his shorty and go, oh, you look different. He just was like, baby, I missed you. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was a real villain. He was such a villain. He even, like I said, he even came back and said, yo, fam, let me tell you how the game gonna go. And made a game plan to make up a truce as long as we can live on your planet, because we homeless. So it was just like, yo, I need to see more of this man next season. Whether he's fighting or something like that. Also, if I was Mark, I would have took a second and I would have said, you can live on Earth under one condition, right? You got to help me and my friends whenever shit go down. I mean, there's enough of y'all, right? And if he felt the type way, he could have been like, hear me out. Let's say a villain comes, a bad guy, a bad woman comes and tries to take us all out, right? Now, let's say they all try to take us out. But then at the end of the time, if they take us out, they take all of these human beings on Earth out. You don't got nobody to breathe with. So you just as stuck as I am. Make him think about it, and then maybe Thragg would have been like, all right, we're going to help y'all out. Now you got extra firepower because you got a bunch of Viltrumites that can fight. And then even if they get taken out by a villain, hey, listen, I just asked you to help. I didn't know you was going to lose. So it could happen, right? That Volcanica chick, like other people could come back and Engstrom could come back and maybe them Viltrumites have to step up. I don't know the books, people, so I'm going to speculate. And even if I did, I think I still would. So it could happen. But that's what I would have did. I would have set the condition like, this is what y'all got to do. But I need more Thragg in the next season and the next season. I know Robert Kirkman said, or allegedly, you read the internet, you don't know what to believe anymore. But allegedly, he's looking at 9 seasons tops. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes to 10 if the views and everything is still up there. But I think this is a show that can stand the test of a 10-season commitment. I mean, when you look at it, Rick and Morty's already at 9 seasons, right? So what's to stop them? And Rick and Morty went through a lot of situations, with what's Justin Roiland or whoever getting in trouble. So it's like, what's to say that Invincible can't do the same thing? So I really do think that it can stand the test of time, but I need Thragg to be in up to at least season 7. Let's get 3 more seasons of Thragg. And if he lasts through the end, that's fine too. If he's the final boss, that's fine too. But it needs to go somewhere. And also, side note, if what I'm hearing is true online, based on people who have already read the book or just took the time to Google it, there is a rumor, but actually it's not even rumor, this is canon, that Anissa, it was a callback. We've seen it when Mark yells out, I defeated Conquest. Well, basically, I unalived him. And I'll do the same to you, Thragg, right? Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Everybody was like, you beat Conquest? You took him out. Anissa was the only one that was like. So that tells me that she was feeling the brother, right? She wants the beef. However, what I never realized, a lot of people online are already speculating, spoiler alert, that Anissa's going to get what she wants. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anymore, but she's going to get hers. She's going to get what she wants. So Eve got to watch her back. Hopefully Eve's powers come back in a great way that she can manifest them and take this woman out. But Anissa going to get what she wants, apparently. And what she wants is some... So just saying. Anyway, great season once again. Season 4. This was a hell of a couple of weeks with The Boys coming back, Daredevil coming back, One Piece coming back, JJK ending, so many different things. The Janine Gregory breakup. Like, it was so many different things happening on TV at the same time that to have this be right there, it was like, man, this is something epic. So again, if you haven't seen the season or if you're just catching up, finish it, watch this episode. Write in the comments, let's talk about it. All right. Follow me on social media. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The Nerds in the Hood is back again. And I will see y'all next time, way before season 5, for another review of something else. All right. Enjoy yourselves, people. Peace. Nerds in the Hood.